Hi there, welcome to Young Guns for another week. I'm Amy Parks and next to me is my ever effervescent co-host, Greg Lange. How are you, Greg?
Yeah, good, thanks, Amy. And congratulations on riding the winner in the second race down at the track. Brittany's Girl, I believe it was called, so well done.
A nice stick of my clothing, thanks. We have one every week. I'll get you back eventually.
Now, a great round of football was round 7, but we're equally excited by the debut of Star Wars.
Oh,
the
it's a
second
huge
episode.
film. Oh, and geeks everywhere are getting ready for it. Star Wars
Amy,
geeks,
you've committed a sin there by calling Star Wars fans geeks. They're going to be waiting for you outside. It's terrible.
Hey, you can't pick on them if you are one, so I'm not picking on them.
No, I'll agree with that. On tonight's show, we're going to get a visit from one of St Kilda's hottest young players. We also go west and visit the Eagles' Daniel Kerr. And I guess we better start off at looking at some of the hottest rookies from round 7. And we're going to start with St Kilda's Xavier Clark. Was in fact round 7 nominee for the Rising Star Award. Spent the first quarter on the bench, but after he came on, Amy, at the start of the second quarter, he just tore the turf up.
He certainly did. Only 18 years old, wearing the number 20, and played for the Northern Territory in their under-18 side last year, coming from the AIS AFL Academy in 2000. So he's got his brownie points in football.
He's a soccer player in the Premiership League, plays for Arsenal. Freddie Lundberg, he's got the red streak. How do you like Xavier's little bit of red in the
Every week I'm impressed by somebody's hairdo in the AFL, and again, it never fails to amaze me. It looks great.
Xavier kicked 4 goals, had 10 kicks, 2 handballs, 8 marks. The Saints played a very tough and exhausting game. It was great to see them bounce back after their sort of flooding techniques to play aggressive, hard football. And a pretty small player, Xavier, in the forward line, but he just sniffed around like a Doberman in the arc, and a great performance.
Certainly was. Next up is Andrew Welsh from the Bombers, and played his first game against Carlton on the weekend.
Yeah, I actually went to this game, Amy, and Corey McKernan's been struggling to get a touch on the Sharon, but had no problems getting his hands on Welsh's scalp. So I think Corey is just a week away. Just as good to imagine the Sharon as a head, and I think he'll be right.
An impressive game by the young Welsh there at Essendon, and coming up and handballed a salmon there.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest guys, recruits going around at the Bombers.
Well, that's one of the rules, that you always kick or handball to the more experienced player.
That's right. And here is Shane Burst from the Western Bulldogs. Now, he had an impressive game too. Werribee VFL side he's come from in 2001, and plays in the back line, but kicked an impressive goal there with the youngster from Sale.
And celebrated with a chicken dance, which
Certainly
is also
did.
good to see. And our last blazing gun was indeed our guest last week here on Young Guns, Jason Cloke, dominating defence for the second week in a row for the Pies, and will more than likely poll a few Brownlow votes, Amy, for his effort against the Bulldogs, who snatched defeat from the jaws of victory yet again.
They certainly did.
Taking a great mark there, number 34, received a lot of press, Jason.
He did, including on our show last week, Greg.
Yes, now there was one big highlight from the round. It involved someone's boot, a football, and someone's head, and the person delivering this awesome feat, this skill, was rampaging Ricky Mott from the Sydney Swans. Rampaging Ricky. It's very hard to do this. You practice this over years, Amy, to boot the football into someone's head. Unfortunately, it was his teammate Daniel McPherson. Headache.
Oops.
I think he said a little bit more than oops.
Probably, but we're keeping it censored here tonight. Now, we have someone important to introduce, as we do every week on Young Guns, Greg.
Okay, what are you saying? We're not important, or?
Yeah, I introduce you every week, but come on, it's a little bit lacklustre.
All right.
Now, we have a special guest with us, one of the youngest guns in the AFL going around. He's a very busy boy. We're lucky to have him on tonight. Nick Riewoldt from the St Kilda Football Club.
Yeah, Nick! Yeah, the applause just gets bigger and bigger each week.
Yeah, likewise.
Now, we'll hit you first up with your collectible. Each week we ask our guests to bring in something for our collectible shelf. What have you got for us?
Well, I've gone into the wardrobe, and I've managed to scrounge up one of my junior footy ties from my days playing back in Queensland. So I'll hand this over to you guys.
Excellent, yeah, and we'll put it with your collection. So what team was that with?
That was the Queensland under-18s, which I suppose is a similar thing to the Teal Cup of old. So.
Oh, okay. Very impressive item, very impressive. I'll be wearing that a little later.
Now, you're always mentioned as coming from Queensland, but you actually started out in a different state. Can you take us through a little bit of your travel history around the country?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was born in Tassie originally, and lived down in Hobart for about 9 years before we moved to, I suppose, the opposite end of the country, up to the Gold Coast in Queensland. So it was a bit of a climate change, as I'm sure you'd expect. But stayed up there for 9 years and played junior football up there, and eventually senior footy with Southport. And sort of got pretty used to the beaches, and have had to come down here, which I'm very happy about, being at St Kilda now.
And how have you adjusted from the weather? Because it's very warm in Queensland and all that sort of stuff. And you look like a bit of a beach kind of guy. How have you adjusted to the Melbourne temperature and the climate down here?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I'd struggled a little bit. The long sleeve jerseys and the tights have certainly copped a flogging, and so's my long sleeve wetsuit as well. But the summers down here aren't too bad, and if we could just get some consistency going in the winter, then it'd be probably one of the best cities around, I suppose.
And do you get into all those sports that are typically Queensland, like surfing and all that sort of stuff? Did you get into all those?
Yeah, I've had a few friends that have gone through the iron sort of men and women circuits, so I follow that pretty closely, and played a bit of rugby union and that in school. I suppose up there football's not the biggest sport, so you sort of play what everyone else plays or get left behind.
How did you find playing rugby union? What did you enjoy, if anything, about that sport compared to AFL?
Well, people say AFL's got no rules. I think rugby union's probably a lot worse. But it was good fun, and the school spirit there was terrific. So it was nice for a change, I suppose.
For sure. Now, the Lions, the Brisbane Lions obviously missed you or something in the draft because of a geographical thing.
Yep.
Is that right? Were you sort of happy or sad about that? Would you have preferred to stay up north, or?
I suppose with the draft these days, it's designed to give all the sides an equal opportunity, and as a player you don't really have a choice where you end up. So it's easy to look back and say, well, I could have been pretty close to staying in Brisbane, but I'm not, and I'm down in Melbourne now, and I'm really enjoying playing football in Melbourne, which is the mecca of the game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time down here.
Where have you played most of your footy as a junior? What position?
Well, I've moved around a fair bit. Up in Queensland, sort of from year to year, you'd jump 2 age groups just because they didn't have the numbers up there. So 1 year you'd probably play a key position, and the next year you'd be perhaps a rover. So I've played a bit of footy all over the place, and down back at the moment with the Saints, I'm really enjoying that and playing alongside some really good players like Stevie Lawrence, and it's certainly good, I suppose, for development.
See, one of the toughest players? Who are the real tough nuts at St Kilda? The ones who are ramming you at training and just don't care if they hurt you?
Yeah, I think Stevie probably falls into that character. He's a terrific fella, and certainly sort of shows a lot of passion out on the field, which is the only way he knows. And Aaron Hamill as well, who plays sort of that terrific, hard-at-it sort of game. So there's a few of them down there. I think if everyone could adopt their style of play, it'd be a pretty good St Kilda side.
Excellent. Well, stick with us, Nick. You get into music much at all, and all that sort of stuff? Do you like?
Oh yeah, I'll sort of follow the video hits a little bit.
Yeah, nice one. Well, we've got a very special clip now by Fatboy Slim, or Norman J as he's known. This is Ya Mama here on Young Guns. We'll see you after this.
Out wide, Riewoldt. That's a wonderful mark by Nick. Came from dangerous short kick with marked by Riewoldt. See, the only tall options they've got up for. Oh, dangerous kick, Riewoldt. O'Loughlin. And that really shook him up, but he's really shaken there, but he gets up. His next instinct is, I've got to get. So there he is.
Hold on.
Nick Riewoldt from St Kilda Football Club. We saw you getting a bit of a tub thumper. From Michael O'Loughlin. Do you try and hide the pain, if any? Like the cricketers, when they get hit by the ball, they sort of just say, don't rub it, don't rub it. Are you trying to hide any pain?
No, I think you could probably see there I was grimacing a little bit, but no, I suppose you cop enough knocks just to learn to deal with it, I suppose.
You get tough.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. Now, you got brothers and sisters. Are they still living up in Queensland?
They are, yeah. I've got a younger brother, Alex, who's 16. He's in year 12 at the moment. And my little sister, Madeline, she's in about 13, I think. I hope I got that right, yeah.
Should be disappointed if you didn't. Did you play much backyard footy? Obviously, they're a little bit younger than you. You probably didn't get into packs and stuff.
No, Madeline actually played a little bit of footy
really?
for Broadbeach Junior Footy Club there. I suppose growing up with two older brothers, she sort of had to learn to be pretty tough. Otherwise, she was crying to mum a fair bit.
She copped it.
Yeah, she did.
Nick, I must admit, when you first walked into our set here on Young Guns, I immediately thought Style Master. You know, Nick Riewoldt, St Kilda Style Master. And the reason I thought that is because I have seen some footage of you, well, I guess you'd say strutting your stuff at the Melbourne Fashion Festival. I believe we've got a little bit of footage of you, Nick, here in a Zoolander type
Hey,
pose.
I wouldn't be picking on anything there, Greg, because did you see Sarah O'Hare standing in front of him? I think you would have paid money to be there.
What were you talking about there? Cotton versus synthetic? What was the conversation with Sarah?
I don't really think I could speak. I was awestruck. So
That
yeah,
or were your pants just too high?
probably a combination of the two.
Well, what was that for? What were you doing there besides strutting Zoolander style?
I think Bonds are one of the sponsors of the Saints, so a few of us players went along, and Mark McVeigh and Brodie Holland were there as well. And
don't try and dub other people in there. Okay, you were there in the green tights, all right?
There it is again. There it is again. No, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was going to be so much fun until we sort of got backstage, and there's sort of 100 girls running around in bras and G-strings. So yeah, it was good fun.
And after people were talking to you and you said that you felt more nervous in your first game of AFL, is that true, and why?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. You walk out onto the catwalk there, and it's sort of, I suppose, something that you're not used to doing. I'd never done anything like that before. It was footy's pretty familiar to you, so yeah, I was pretty nervous.
Now, coming down from Queensland and moving to Melbourne, it's obviously a foreign state. How have you settled in? Have you got a good support base down here to look after you?
Yeah, definitely. The club's been terrific in providing a place for us to live. I'm boarding with Justin Kazicki, another player at St Kilda, and we live with a lady there in Brighton who's just been terrific. Sort of, I suppose, being a mum away from home for us. She cooks and cleans and does all the motherly things that makes it pretty easy for us to just sort of concentrate on footy.
Soft.
Oh, that's good.
Soft.
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
I'd still live at home with my mum if I had the choice. Now we're going to. I would. I miss my mum. We're going to have a chat to someone now that Greg had a chat to actually over in the West. He's been a proven performer for the West Coast Eagles. This is Daniel Kerr, and we'll see what he has to say.
His nickname is Roger. His star sign is Taurus, and he recently scored a century in backyard cricket. He's the West Coast Eagles' Daniel Kerr. Daniel, take us through the backyard cricket score. Must have been a fantastic innings.
Oh, it was great. Just giving my best mate a flogging around his backyard. It's pretty good fun.
Now, some people have very obscure rules in backyard cricket. I know in my front yard cricket, caught by a tree and hit the rubbish bin on the full are 2 rules. What strange rules has your competition got?
Just pretty much cars on the full out because we broke a few windows and all windows out.
Now, you went to Aquinas College, a private school here in WA. How did you play for the football sides at Aquinas? Were you good, or how would you describe yourself at school?
Average. We've got a guy here he was I think 103 kilos in year 10, so he was the star player. I was just one of the battlers, I think.
Kerr still in space though. Daniel Kerr lines up and misses.
I've heard from Kaz and a few of the other guys here that you are, the king of fashion at the West Coast Eagles. What is your opinion on the ochre versus the old jumper?
God, I don't mind the ochre actually. I like the old jumper better, probably because traditional wise, but yeah, the ochre's alright. Wouldn't mind a pair of ochre pants, something like that.
Ochre pants,
No,
okay.
joking.
If a girl wanted to impress Daniel Kerr, what would be the perfect date for you? Would it be, well, I'll let you answer that. I mean, I have a couple suggestions, but what would you see the perfect date as being?
God, I don't know. I'm not sure really.
Have you been on any good dates? I mean, can you...
I've been in a few at the next door to the cot. There's a nice little restaurant there on the beach, and if it's in the off season, there's a pub next door for a few quiet beers. But yeah, I like the Cottesloe. Restaurants and pub there.
And the type of girl, if you could name possibly a celebrity, I believe Penelope Cruz is now on the market with the breakup from Tom. If you could choose the celebrity, who would you choose as your ideal sort of woman?
My ideal woman. God, I like the older ones, the Claudia Schiffer. I like the older ladies.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what's the appeal to the older ladies?
I don't know really, just the don't know, they'd know a bit about life and stuff like that.
Oh, now Kerr, third time lucky Daniel Kerr. Yes!
What do you like to listen to, if anything at all?
I listen to The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson and Korn a lot. I don't really like that music other than before a game.
Kerr, too far out to score. Wilson will be his target. Kerr decides to go on his own, runs to 50 and kicks a goal. How good is Daniel Kerr?
What's the dream you've always been dreaming?
Well, kick 10 in the grand final, winning grand final.
On the boundary line, wants some assistance, steps inside, right foot kick on goal. Daniel Kerr has picked the beauty.
Daniel Kerr there from the West Coast Eagles. He proved an interesting interview. Now, he spoke about Michelle Pfeiffer, an ideal...
No, I didn't speak about Michelle Pfeiffer.
You brought
he
it
did.
up. You brought it up.
He said he preferred older women, and Michelle Pfeiffer was one of those. So, Nick, in the entertainment industry, any that you like their work?
Could sit here all night.
List them off. He's got a small list he prepared earlier. Here it is.
Well, such as, you know, just skip the question.
Thought he was out of it there.
I think Britney Spears is a pretty obvious one. Just
because she's a good dancer and she's got morals.
yes,
That's
great
why.
voice.
Yes, a really good singer, Britney Spears. Have you noticed, Greg?
Oh, I certainly have
staring at me
noticed.
blankly like,
Well, you look a little Britney tonight with the hat.
I do.
Any TV shows that you watch that you don't tell anyone about because you're embarrassed? You know, like Days of Our Lives, or you name anything?
No, I don't really sort of have time for the mid-afternoon TV sessions. I watch quite a fair bit of The Simpsons, so it's probably the most TV that I watch.
Yeah. Simpsons is a big favourite.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah. Now, apart from watching Simpsons, outside of football, what do you get up to? You're at uni, but you've deferred now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've deferred my uni studies. I've done about 1.5 years of an exercise science degree. But before I sort of go ahead and finish that and pigeonhole myself, I just wanted to sort of, I suppose, explore a few other things, and I'll do that sort of this year and maybe next, and eventually get back and finish those studies off.
And for the last week, you've been doing some work experience at a Melbourne newspaper. Tell us what's behind that?
I suppose just a little bit of work experience, just exploring one of those avenues, just to, I suppose, see what I enjoy. It's pretty different to exercise science, sort of writing for a newspaper. But yeah, I've just been going around and seeing the goings on of how it all comes together, and I haven't written any articles or anything like that.
But do you hover over the writers and just make sure that everything written about St Kilda's good, or you hack into the computers and just change a few of the...
Oh, I haven't had to do that, but I think I probably would go to that level, yeah.
He'd be one of those journos. He'd get stuck in. He certainly would. So The Age is a pretty busy place to be, but have you noticed that being in AFL football, that it's a busy lifestyle, being an AFL footballer?
Yeah, certainly. Before sort of getting drafted, I'd never had a full-time job. I was just studying, and yeah, it's pretty all-encompassing. I mean, unlike sort of other work as well, I suppose your sleep, your diet, and everything sort of contributes to how well you perform. So it is a full-time job, and it's sort of something you've really got to dedicate yourself to.
Nick, we've mentioned you a couple of times on Young Guns before tonight, in particular about your hair and hairstyle and your choice to go the colour. Is it a colour? Is there any adjustments to the hair, and why so?
No, I guarantee you it's 100% natural.
You know how we know that? Because you can see his eyebrows.
Well, if you dye your eyebrows, they're obviously going to look the same.
Yeah, but your eyebrows, that takes ages. Anyway, enough talk about eyebrows. That's it. We've got to go again. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Nick. It's been a pleasure to have you. We'll see you shortly. No doubt a big year for you this year too. So.
And can you tell Stephen Milne just to control himself when he's running around, please?
Okay, we're going to get out of here. We've got a Kylie Minogue film clip. It's her new single, and it's called Love at First Sight.
Rejected at a Posh Spice party, and I think she was rejected from Posh Spice's party because they were worried about Danny Minogue.
Totally uninvited. See you next week on Young Guns. Bye bye.